I'm Charlie, and I'm a farmer. A farmer who loves movies. Not everyone thinks that farming and movies go together, but I do.
Can I help you? I'd like to see the man in charge.
After all, if the harvest fails, we're all gonna die. That should be enough for a decent movie.
I want to report a murder.
Sit down.
There's always a movie playing in my head.
Where was this murder committed?
San Francisco, last night.
Who was murdered?
I was. Well, do you want to hear me out or don't you, Captain? I don't have very much time.
And when I'm watching a movie, I keep thinking about how my farm is every bit as exciting and interesting.
That's right.
I wonder what will happen and how the story will resolve.
Send it direct to Inspector Bannon, homicide. Tell him we found Frank Bigelow. Go ahead, Mr. Bigelow.
I think there should be more great movies about farming.
Well, this involves some other people, Captain. A number of other people.
You tell it any way you like.
Before there was farming, people ate food that was provided by the environment. Maple syrup production is a bit like this. The trees just do their own thing. I gather the sap, boil it down, and eat the pancakes.
You guys are soft. You know what makes you that way? You're up to your necks in IOUs. You're suckers. You're scared to get out on your own. You always said it's good, so you're soft. Well, not me. Nobody ever gave me anything. So I don't owe nobody.
Syrup is a good amount of work. About 40 gallons of sap have to be boiled down to make 1 gallon of syrup. Still, there's not much else to do this early in the spring, so I really look forward to sugar season. The sap keeps flowing for as long as the temperature hovers around the freezing mark. If it gets too warm too quickly, the trees shoot out buds and the sap stops flowing. Syrup is a gift, and I'm totally dependent on conditions for the season to be successful. And there's one other thing that syrup can teach us about food production. The thing is, food takes energy. Wild foods, if fully utilized, could barely feed 1% of the world's population. If you want to build a civilization with cities, trade, and progress, you're going to need farms to feed people.
One of the worst waterfronts in the world. It reeks of iniquity. And yet on this street where sin walks arm in arm with sudden death, a woman of great courage uses her sex as a weapon to save a man's life.
We could have fun.
Not tonight.
Honey, you don't know what you're missing.
I said, not tonight.
My little farm is just 4 acres. About half of that is pasture, and my gardens total around 1/4 acre. The rest is hayfield and woods. 4 acres is also about how much dry land there is per person on Earth. I try to grow as much food here as I can for myself, friends, and especially my animals. But it's hard to make food that only comes from one place. Every year I dream of a meal made entirely from the farm and nothing else.
Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill.
Most food today is grown on a farm, but the farms are powered by outside inputs, petroleum and energy from fossil fuels. Roughly, it takes the energy equivalent of 500 gallons of gasoline every year to feed an American. About 2/3 of that energy footprint goes into chemicals like fertilizers, pesticides, and fungicides. That's what it takes to grow your food. A single gallon of gasoline takes almost 100 tons of ancient plant matter to produce, buried and compressed for millions of years. If you took every tree and shrub on my property alive today and buried it for a couple million years, you might expect to have a gallon or two of gasoline at the end of that.
you've had enough.
My donkeys are small, but they're bigger and stronger than I am. So I figure they can help around here. So how much power do they really have?
Keep going.
I wanted to find out. It turns out the team can maintain 150 pounds of pull while walking at 3 feet per second. That's about 0.8 of a horsepower. Not bad for my beautiful donkeys, Rosie, Cassie, and Sebastian. So how much horsepower does a farmer have? I did about a 60-pound pull at 2 feet per second. Less than a quarter horsepower.
Go get the rest of canned goods out of the car. We'll have a real good meal.
Late winter and spring can be a time of hunger. Food stocks are low, and there's nothing to harvest, possibly for months. It's a tricky time for the animals and the farmer. We usually just squeak by here. Although spring menus can be a little monotonous. But by this point, there's nothing to do about it. Either I put enough food away, or I didn't. If the farm falls short, hopefully I'll do a better job of planning and execution next season. So really, the perfect meal, it's pretty simple. Everything comes from the farm. Nothing on the plate is from off of the farm. To do something well, you should practice it many times. If you do something 10,000 times, some would say you are a master. But summer only comes once per year, and no farmer lives for 10,000 years. The farm's heirloom seeds, however, have been harvested, saved, and replanted for thousands of years. They've seen dry years, wet years, insects, and pests. These seeds have nourished civilizations and fed people. They are masters of surviving.
Remember what Emerson says about crime. Oh, there's Rankin. He may know.
Sorry to be late.
I'm fine, thanks.
Hello, everybody.
Darling.
Oh, hello there, Rankin.
How are you, Mr. Wilson?
You know the quotation?
The Hibbert?
Emerson?
Quotation?
Commit a crime and the earth is made of glass?
No, I don't.
Commit a crime and the earth is made of glass. Commit a crime. Commit a crime and it seems as if a coat of snow fell on the ground, such as reveals in the woods the track of every partridge and fox and squirrel and mole. You cannot recall the spoken word. You cannot wipe out the foot track. You cannot draw up the ladder so as to leave no inlet or clue.
You're Mr. Wilson, aren't you? Do you know you're our #1 suspect in our murder case?
Oh?
So far, you're the only suspect. Potter put the finger on you. He thinks you committed the crime to get possession of some priceless antique.
Drink, Mr. Wilson?
Transplants are fussy. They're not my favorite thing around here. And I'm already compromising my perfect meal. The potting soil came from the store, and the plant heater is plugged into the wall. The chickens are a good illustrator of contradictions here on the homestead. I keep chickens for the eggs, and I like to think that those eggs come from my farm. After all, the chickens live here, they lay eggs here, and I gather the eggs here. So the eggs must come from the farm, right? But my chickens eat about 2 pounds of grain per day on average. That grain comes from off the farm. Now, the chickens do eat a lot of insects and grubs, but they really need that grain to keep laying eggs. The farm needs around 800 pounds of grain per year just to feed the chickens. That's a lot of grain, and much more than I can grow on my homestead. Most of that grain comes from the wheat fields that I manage off of the homestead. Although these are organically managed fields, I use modern machinery for the tillage and the harvesting. Which means that, to some extent, my eggs still come from fossil fuels. Last year I ran out of wheat, so I purchased chicken feed from the store.
Well, this is good for at least a couple of months. You know what I'd do? Between now and, let's say, Christmas when he's gonna jump, I'd run a daily on. Starting with his boyhood, his schooling, his first job. A wide-eyed youngster facing a chaotic world. The problem of the average man, of all the John Does in the world. Now, Then comes the drama. He meets discouragement. He finds the world his feet of clay. His ideals crumble, so what does he do? He decides to commit suicide and protest against the state of civilization. He thinks of the river, but no, he has a better idea. The city hall. Why? Because he wants to attract attention. He wants to get a few things off his chest, and that's the only way he can get himself heard.
So?
So he writes me a letter, and I dig him up. He pours out his soul to me. And from now on, we quote, I protest by John Doe. He protests against all the evils in the world. The greed, the lust, the hate, the fear. All of man's inhumanity to man. Arguments will start. Should he commit suicide or should he not? People will write in pleading with him, but no, sir, John Doe will remain adamant. On Christmas Eve, hot or cold, he goes. See?
Very pretty. Very pretty indeed, Miss Mitchell.
I cut all the grass on the homestead by hand. Whatever grass the donkeys don't eat, I cut it and save as hay for later consumption. Grass is the most basic element of sustainability on a traditional farm. The grass feeds the donkeys work the soil, and the donkeys' manure feeds the plants. It's a simple cycle powered by the sun, the rain, and the passage of time. On top of it, I get a decent workout without going to the gym. I just do a little every day, and it's not that big a deal. I've come to love hay season, and my gas mower hasn't been used on the homestead for many years now. After cutting, the hay is raked and turned to help it dry. If the weather cooperates, it's just a couple of days before the grass can be stacked as hay.
I don't read no papers, and I don't listen to radios either. I know the world's been shaped by a drunken barber, and I don't have to read it. I've seen guys like you go under before. Guys that never had a worry. Then they got a hold of some dough and went goofy. The first thing that happens to a guy...
Hey, get out of the bedroom. No.
The first thing that happens to a guy like that, he starts wanting to go into restaurants and sit down at a table and eat salads and cupcakes and tea. Boy, what that kind of food does to your system. The next thing the dope wants is a room. Yes, sir, a room with steam heat, and curtains and rugs. And before you know it, he's all softened up and he can't sleep unless he has a bed.
Hey, stop worrying, Colonel. $50 ain't gonna ruin me.
I've seen plenty of fellas start out with $50 and wind up with a bank account.
Hey, what's the matter with a bank account anyway?
And let me tell you, Long John, when you become a guy with a bank account, they got you. Yes, sir, they got you.
Who's got him?
The helots.
Who?
Hey, there's the City Hall tower I was supposed to jump off of. It's even higher than this.
Who's got him?
The helots.
Woo!
Once the hay is dry, I touch up the windrows with a rake and begin gathering. It's all going in the stacks. Up front, I just pick up the hay and carry it by hand into the stacking area. I gather hay from around my house, the shed, and everywhere that the grass will grow. If there's a lot of hay to be picked up, I usually grab a helper. I have 3 perfectly healthy donkeys who can pull a cart, but I usually grab Cassie for this kind of work. It's not her fault, but she's just the best at this kind of task. Sebastian can be impatient, and he tends to walk off with a cart when I don't want him to.
Good girl.
Rosie can walk incredibly slow, and sometimes she won't move at all. So Cassie gets the job. This is a lesson I keep in mind. Don't be too good at something, lest you find yourself doing it for others all the time. I try to be just good enough to get the job done. Nobody's judging me, and the important thing on a farm is to be effective. Get the job done. There's nobody else here to do it for me, so the motivation is simple. Animal-powered farming is the only proven, sustainable system of food production ever invented. Western civilization, from the time of the Romans up until the 20th century, was powered by draft animals eating grass. If you visit an old city in Europe or North America, you're walking through a system built on traditional farming. The system wasn't perfect, but it lasted a long time, and it could have continued. The present system is definitely more productive, but only in the short run. Since 1945, farm fields have become 3 times more productive. However, this modern food system uses 4 times as much energy as it did in 1945. So 3 times the food, but 4 times the cost and energy. Non-renewable energy, energy that won't be available in the future. Of course, the old system was only feeding about 1 billion people, and today we have 7 billion people.
I despair of my sins.
I despair of my sins.
O God of all goodness, how could I ever have offended thee?
Of all goodness.
Years ago, I had a vivid dream while traveling away from the farm. I stayed over in a small motel during a blizzard, sleeping fitfully. In the dream, Rosie, Cassie, and Sebastian broke out of their enclosure and went off in search of me. It was a raging storm, and the snow was up to their shoulders. The team pushed through the snowdrifts and made their way. As I awoke, all 3 donkeys were looking at me through the window, protecting and taking care of me. I never liked leaving the farm. Transplants are always a lot of work, and this year was no exception. If I didn't need the peppers and tomatoes for practically everything I like to eat, I probably wouldn't bother. Transplants are delicate until their roots develop. Ideally, you'd like cool, cloudy weather for the first week they're in the ground. Instead, the sun began blasting the plants right away, and the ground was already very dry. I watered by hand for a day or two, but I couldn't keep up. And it wasn't going to rain anytime soon.
I want to go with you, Frank.
Now, Paul, I'm just going on a little vacation, you know that?
You want to go without me, don't you?
Be gone just a week.
And I suppose you've just made up your mind to take this little vacation at 9 o'clock this morning?
No, Paul, I meant to tell you about it a few days ago, and I guess I forgot.
Oh, you forgot.
Paula, don't be like that.
Don't be like what? You just drop a little announcement that you're going away. Not tomorrow or next week or next month, but today. No explanations, nothing. And I'm supposed to swallow the excuse that you need a little vacation.
I just want to get away from town for a few days, that's all.
Get away from this town or get away from me.
Oh, Paula, please try to understand.
How can you ask me to understand anything like this? No, I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Go to San Francisco, but don't expect me to be waiting for you when you get back.
Once I had the drip irrigation in place, I could get on to the main occupation of an organic vegetable farmer. Weeding. Ideally, get those weeds while they're still small. It will save time. It's easier to kill a small weed, and the weed will do less damage to the crop. I have different tools and gadgets for weeding, but it's still work. Weeding and pest management are one of the biggest components of our modern food system's energy footprint. Chemicals take the place of labor. And the chemicals work. But they are also the reason why you can find up to 15 different agricultural chemicals in the placentas of pregnant women. The pigweed has really been out of hand the past couple of years. It's getting worse. A pigweed plant can produce up to 35,000 pigweed seeds. If you don't get them all, they keep coming back. The only good thing? Donkeys love pigweed. Farming looks boring, but it isn't. Everything's on the line, and if the harvest fails, we all die. Time scale is broader, and effects appear removed from their causes. But don't be fooled. Risk is continuous. Everything matters. Of all the tools I have for weeding, my favorite is the antique walk-behind cultivator. Sebastian is a master of corn cultivating. I just point him down the row and hang on. This bird never liked me. She doesn't care that I live here, or that I paid for this place, that I have a title, or anything. She just wants me out of the garden, and she never let up.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar's a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this.
The potatoes had a little frost damage in May, which was worrying, but not fatal. And rabbits were nibbling away at my snap peas.
Come on, guys.
But the most amazing thing I found in my garden this year was completely unexpected.
Wow.
This is the only Native American artifact I've ever found here.
My God, that is really cool. Oh, wow.
Honestly, I had never given any thought to the people who lived on this land before me. I don't know why it showed up here. I must have walked past this 100 times before noticing.
Holy buckets.
I'm really overwhelmed, and I'll never look at my garden the same way again. It was a quick job putting up some chicken wire around the snap peas. That would take care of it. The wire would keep out the bunnies and give the vines a place to climb. The fencing worked, and in a short time, I was eating fresh peas. Not many peas made it as far as the kitchen. Meanwhile, deer and raccoons had discovered my flint corn. I usually donate the damaged corn stalks to a worthy cause. But I didn't want to donate the entire crop. Raccoons and other pests love traditional corn, and they can wipe out a small stand. A friend of mine once got so frustrated that he grabbed some ears of modern corn and sprinkled them around his plot of rare native corn. The raccoons ignored the easy meal and continued their rampage, feasting on the traditional corn. Corn is one of the most important crops in our modern food system. But that system is growing corn that no self-respecting raccoon would eat, given the choice.
Paula, please, Paul. Come on, turn around. Look. Come here.
Why do you do this to me, Frank? Why can't you be honest with me? As honest as I am with you? Do you have to go?
I have to go, Paula. I know what I'm doing.
All right, go. Go anywhere you like. You can go to blazes for all I care.
Paula? Paula.
Yes, I know I'm being foolish.
Come here. Come on, fix your face. We'll go down to Eddie's and have a drink.
All right, why not?
Garlic around here is ready for harvest in early July. It was a weedy stand, but the bulbs were beautiful. I wish all the crops went this well. Mildred is one of the strangest birds ever to call my farm home. Long after her broodmates had passed on, she was still among the living. Somehow, Mildred had managed to avoid the hawks, the mink, the foxes, and the pests that seemed to catch up to every chicken.
Let's go.
By last summer, she was 3 times the age of any other chicken in the flock. Mildred was a survivor.
There you go. All right. I got you. I got you. Come on.
Mildred also drove me nuts because she refused to go into the chicken coop at night. Mildred had outlived her peers, and she no longer fit in with the rest of the chickens. So it made sense that she wouldn't go in at night like the other birds did. But to keep her safe, Mildred needed to be locked up at night. Every afternoon I searched the farm for her. Sometimes I found her right away, and sometimes it took a few tries.
There we go, sweetie. All right, I got you.
I think Mildred enjoyed the ritual. In the daytime, Mildred hung out with the donkeys and with me, but mostly she kept to herself. Remarkably, Mildred was always in a good mood.
There we go. I got you.
And as crazy as this all sounds, I really didn't mind it. One night late last fall, the remarkable force of Mildred's life moved on to another place. I found her in the morning on the floor of the coop. And I carried my friend one last time. This time to the compost. I hope that someone carries me to the compost pile when my own time comes. I can't think of a greater privilege than to nourish a new crop on the farm, together with my fine feathered friend, Mildred.
striking. For 100 years after more than...
It was a trap, Charles, just like you said. Mr. Wilson was there. He tried to tell me that you were a Nazi. And I was supposed to believe it. Imagine you being an escaped Nazi. Oh, he thinks he's very clever, that Wilson. His idea was to horrify me into telling him about the little man.
Who did he say he thought I was?
A Nazi. Franz Kindler. He made it all up just to trick me. But I didn't tell him anything, and I didn't tell Father anything. I outfaced both of them, Charles. He'll be civil enough to prove you're not that Nazi. We'll just find someone who was in your class at college, and he'll identify you, and that's all there'll be to it.
If what you say is true, he can't touch me. I'm quite safe if you say nothing.
No, I won't, Charles. I promise I won't. They can torture him, and I won't tell them anything.
The growing season was going well, really one of the best I've experienced. Despite the ongoing drought, things looked good, and for once, I wasn't falling behind. The beans germinated on the strength of a light drizzle, and nothing more. Greens like lettuce and kale required a little help. And I also watered the garlic, which I've never done before. The ancient flint corn hardly seemed to notice the lack of rain. The deep roots found plenty of moisture in the farm's heavy soil. By late July, the corn was flowering, and it was just beautiful. The tassels, sometimes 10 feet or more above the ground, produce pollen, which drifts on the wind. The pollen makes its way to the silk of each developing ear. Each silk thread must be pollinated individually to produce a kernel on the cob. It's because the pollen travels through the air that corn cross-pollinates so easily. The result is a beautiful but variable plant. And I can't wait to harvest it. The beans and potatoes grew well, and I never watered them. Peeling potatoes was a regular chore in June. That's normal. I only ran drip irrigation on the peppers, tomatoes, and onions. Everything else was on its own this year. Peppers can stand up by themselves, but tomatoes need as much help as you can give them. So I did the work. And yes, it finally rained. We never really got caught up, but 10 weeks of drought was coming to an end by the end of June. As soon as there was something to harvest, I was eating it. I'm not a great cook, but when you have fresh ingredients, it's hard to screw it up. Mostly, I just dreamed of the corn harvest. I love corn, and everyone on the farm is involved in the harvest.
Oh. John! John! Oh, John, no, I won't let you unlock it, darling. Oh, please. Please don't give up. We'll start all over again. Just you and I. It isn't too late. The John Doe movement isn't dead yet. You see, John, it isn't dead or they wouldn't be here. It's alive in them. They kept it alive by being afraid. That's why they came up here. Oh, darling. Sure, it should have been killed. It was dishonest. But we can start clean now. Just you and I. It'll grow, John, and it'll grow big because it'll be honest this time. Oh, John, if it's worth dying for, it's worth living for. Oh, please, John. Oh, oh, please, please, God, help me.
The corn will be used for making tortillas, tamales, pancakes, polenta, chicken feed, and anything else I can think of. As I pick, most of the ears go into the big bin, but the seed is set aside in the little bucket. The crop is variable, each ear a little different. Although I will use all of the corn, as I pick, I'm looking for special ears, characteristics that I want to preserve. I'm seeking healthy grain that comes from strong, upright corn stalks. I also want the corn to be healthy to eat and to be beautiful and taste good. At this moment in time, I am the creator of corn. The choices I make are creating the future of this seed line. Corn is a completely human crop, unable to survive on its own. Without people, all corn would disappear from the face of the earth in a few growing seasons. It's because of previous farmers that my corn hardly noticed this year's severe drought. The corn has seen it before, and it's adapted. A dry spring in Wisconsin was no big deal. Predictably, Sebastian did not do as well as Cassie.
Ho, Judy, ho, ho, ho.
He walked off without asking, and he generally got on my nerves.
Ho, ho, ho.
But he did his part, and we got the job done. After the flint corn has been picked, the stalks are cleared from the garden. It's all going in the barn for the donkeys to eat later. And why not? They help grow it. When the farmer's working right, we're all benefiting together. I just love that.
To have full report. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all right now, Roy. It's all right.
Actually, the flint corn was not the end of the corn harvest. We also had to get the popcorn out of the field. So Cassie and I had a little more work to do. Popcorn is actually just a type of flint corn. I've grown a variety called blackjack for the past 10 years or so. Blackjack grows well for me, and every year it's popping a little better. But it's the same idea. Pick the ears, separate the best ones for seed, and gather up the corn stalks for the donkeys.
I am the man you all know as John Doe. I took that name because it seems to describe the average man. And that's me. And that's me. Well, it was me, before I said I was going to jump off the city hall roof at midnight on Christmas Eve. Now I guess I'm not average anymore. Now I'm getting all sorts of attention. From big shots, too.
We've been double-crossed.
The mayor and the governor, for instance. They don't like those articles I've been writing.
You're an imposter, young fellow. That's a pack of lies you're telling.
Well, people like the governor and that fellow there can stop worrying. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about us. The average guys, the John Does. If anybody should ask you what the average John Doe is like, you couldn't tell him because he's a million and one things. He's Mr. Big and Mr. Small. He's simple and he's wise. He's inherently honest, but he's got a streak of larceny in his heart. He seldom walks up to a public telephone without shoving his finger into the slot to see if somebody left a nickel there. He's the man the ads are written for. He's the feller everybody sells things to. He's Joe Dokes, the world's greatest stooge and the world's greatest strength. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we're a great family, the John Does. We're the meek who are supposed to inherit the earth. You'll find us everywhere. We raise the crops, we dig the mines, work the factories, keep the books, fly the planes, and drive the buses. And when a cop yells, "Stand back there, you," he means us, the John Does. We've existed since time began. We built the pyramids, pulled the oars for Roman emperors, sailed the boats for Columbus, retreated from Moscow with Napoleon, and froze with Washington at Valley Forge. Yes, sir. We've been in there dodging left hooks since before history began to walk. In our struggle for freedom, we've hit the canvas many a time, but we always bounce back because we're the people, and we're tough. They've started a lot of talk about free people going soft, that we can't take it. That's a lot of hooey. A free people can beat the world at anything, from war to tiddlywinks, if we all pull in the same direction. I know a lot of you are saying, "What can I do? I'm just a little punk. I don't count." Well, you're dead wrong. The little punks have always counted, because in the long run, the character of a country is the sum total of the character of its little punks. But we've all got to get in there and pitch. We can't win the old ball game unless we have teamwork. And your teammate, my friends, is the guy next door to you. Your neighbor. He's a terribly important guy, that guy next door. You're going to need him, and he's going to need you, so look him up. If he's sick, call on him. If he's hungry, feed him. If he's out of a job, find him one. To most of you, your neighbor is a stranger, a guy with a barking dog and a high fence around him. Now, you can't be a stranger to any guy that's on your own team. So tear down the fence that separates you. Tear down the fence, and you'll tear down a lot of hates and prejudices. Tear down all the fences in the country, and you'll really have teamwork.
Good girl, Cassie.
Yes, sir, my friends. The meek can only inherit the earth when the John Does start loving their neighbors. You better start right now.
Good girl.
Don't wait till the game is called on account of darkness. Wake up, John Doe. You're the hope of the world.
The dry beans were ready for picking a little later than the corn. The yield was lower than expected, but there was still plenty to get me through the year. Beans are easy, fun, and they're good for you. If I'm going to make a really good farm meal, it's got to involve beans. Of course, you can shell beans by hand, but I don't. Once the corn and beans were harvested, I was feeling pretty good about things. So I took a break.
All right, boys and girls, here we go. Rocketing into a fun-filled, exciting cartoon show. Hold on to your seats as we blast off to visit all of your favorite cartoon stars.
My little homestead does pretty well. I have a purpose here, and I feel safe with my animals and the crops we grow together. I look forward to every new season and the beauty it contains. Everyone and everything deserves to experience beauty. I grow enough food to feed myself and the animals, and there is also food left over for sharing. It's not perfect, but it is real, and that's how I like it. Every moment on the farm is special, and the more time I spend here, the less I want to leave. I'd stay here another 10,000 years if I could. I wonder if there's any chance of that. My favorite farm meal is the tamale. I can make tamales year-round from food grown right here on my homestead. They're nutritious, healthy, and taste great. My tamales are made from corn, beans, and peppers. These are all ancient food crops and are all indigenous to the New World. They're also grown from my own seed stock, which I've been saving here for years. I love everything that comes off my farm, but I'm especially intrigued with nutrient-dense, life-sustaining foods. For me, that's the tamale.
All I did was notarize a bill of sale. But that piece of paper could have proven that Phillips didn't commit suicide. He was murdered. And that's why Halliday poisoned me. Would you? Paula.
Call the morgue. Johnson, you go to the Allison Hotel, find Paula Gibson. Don't tell her anything. I'll break it to her.
How shall I make out the report on him, Captain?
Better make it dead on arrival.